Thank you.
Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
Um, this is my script, right? This meeting is being held virtual as an alternative means of public access pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, temporarily amending certain provisions of the open meeting law. You are hereby advised that this meeting and all communications during this meeting may be recorded by the town of Scituate in accordance with the open meeting law. Now for the town of Scituate commitment statement, diversity, equity, inclusion. The Scituate Conservation Commission is committed to providing an environment of respect during meetings. We ask all members to interact in a polite manner, even when there's disagreement. We value the participation of our community and want all participants, including marginalized and minoritized communities, to feel welcomed and respected. We ask our committee members and all those who participate to commit to these standards to support and respect our community. Okay, so here we are. So we have our first.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as written. Are there any add-ons?
There's several continuances.
Yeah, we'll do that next.
Yep.
Okay, so that was Penny. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
That's Eric. Jen,
Yes.
Robbie,
Yes.
and Brendan. Yes, I think that's it, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So you don't have to open these. So can I just continue them?
Well,
Yeah,
let's start with one
let's-
at a time because they're to different dates.
Yep. 164 Turner Road would like to continue until when, Jen?
January 21st.
January 21st.
Okay. Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, so Jen,
Yes.
Robbie,
Yes.
and me, yes.
Okay, and 19 Clap Road would like to continue to when,
To
Jen?
March 16th.
March 16th.
March 6th. All right, a second.
I'll second that.
All right, so Jen,
Yes.
Robbie,
Yes.
and Brendan, yes. So now we're at 129 Kent. Do we have, are we returning to our regular, back
No, we
to
did-
you?
Okay, we don't have Frank in the seat yet and ready to go. We can go to the other continuances, or for 129 Kent, if we want to bring up the plan, I can let you know the couple revisions that were made to it.
Why don't we do the other continuances first? Get them
Okay.
out of the way.
So 37 Revere.
I make a
37
motion
Revere.
to continue 37 Revere to
To
when, Jen?
February 23rd.
February 23rd.
Okay, in a second.
Second from Jen.
Oh. Eric,
Yes.
Robbie,
Yes.
and a yes from me. And then
Okay.
138 Stockbridge Road.
Right. I make a motion, we continue 138 Stockbridge Road, excuse me, to when?
February 23rd.
February 23rd.
Have a second?
Second from
Second.
Jen.
Okay, Eric,
Yes.
Robbie,
Yes.
and a yes from Brendan. All right, now we're all done with our continuances.
And we do have Frank setting up now, so you should be on soon enough.
Well, that was fun.
Thank
doing
you. I know
great,
we put you
Brendan.
on the hot seat.
Good job, Brendan.
Thank you.
Very nice of you to volunteer like you did.
Yeah. That's how it happened, right?
Well, we're not getting a Christmas card next year.
No, 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 of course.
Why don't we bring up the plan for the next hearing?
Okay.
Not hearing anything, Josh.
We're
Oh, you got
we're
it
just
now.
waiting. Yeah.
Thank you. My apologies. Where am I, or where are we?
We are on 129 Kent Street. We've done the continuances. And I don't believe I see the engineer for this one. If there's somebody here to present the changes, otherwise we did hear it December 15th, and the requests that we had, they added to this plan as far as moving the project out of the 50-foot buffer.
Was that, that's Jed, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that was really the request, right? Was to move that.
Yes, to move it away from the resource area out of the 50, and I think we also talked about adding some sort of demarcation on the wetland line, which
Yes.
we can include those in the condition.
Okay. Who do we have here for members tonight, Jen?
We have everybody but Roger.
Okay. Thank you. And again, my apologies. Sorry. Okay. Do you want to, anything you want to comment on that for on 129?
Just that I would include in the conditions the demarcation and not to disturb past the conservation markers.
Okay. Jen Foley, and Jen, thanks for jumping in. I appreciate it.
I didn't. I think it was Brendan, but
Oh, Brendan, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
was still I was still wrestling toddlers.
Okay.
I think if with Jen's notes, I don't know that I have any other questions.
Okay. Penny?
Excuse me. Jen, when you say the conservation markers, are you talking at the buffer, the 50-foot buffer, or the wetland?
Down on the wetland, I believe it's lawn all the way back to the wetland, or actually a little bit
Right
past some
now.
of the flags. So we'd want to
Yeah.
have some markers along there and let that be reestablished.
No, I guess I don't. They made the house small. Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay. Brendan, thank you for fielding that. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. I have, it's my turn, right?
Yep.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Eric?
Nope. I think I'm all set. Thanks.
All right. And Robbie?
The structure hasn't changed at all. It's just been moved. Is that accurate?
Well, there's a house being torn down that was
I'm
closer.
sorry, from the initial hearing, right? We asked them to just move it. Is that all that's happened? It hasn't changed in size or anything?
I don't think so. From what
No,
but I
they
don't
were
have.
just moved.
And
Right.
some of the driveway,
On the driveway,
existing
they got
driveways being
rid of
moved. Yeah.
a proposed driveway and they're just going to, excuse me, use the existing now, it looks like, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I have no other comments on this.
Okay. Do we have anybody in the audience for this one? Okay. Anybody want to make a motion?
I make a motion to close and issue, Jen.
Yes.
Okay, that's a motion from Penny. We have a second.
I'll second the motion.
From Robbie. All in favor? Jen,
Yep.
Brendan,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
and Frank. Yes. Great. Thank you. That was easy. Easy peasy. 151 in Glades Road, and I got to open this one on January 5th, 2026, 6 p.m. The Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Mass General Laws and Section 30700 Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws for a notice of intent filed by Kathleen Hickey for the repair of a septic system within coastal wetlands resources, an area located at 151 Glades Road, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend, and information to access the meetings have been available on the agenda posted on the website. And
Frank, you keep fading out.
sorry, I got the. How's that? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, maybe I was leaning on this little thing. Okay, thanks, Penny. We have someone from Morse Engineering.
Yes. Greg Morse is here.
Good evening.
Good evening, Greg.
For the record, Gregory Morse, registered engineer, Morse Engineering, representing the property owner Kathleen Hickey. The property's at 151 Glades Road. This is a notice of intent for a septic system upgrade project at that property. The lot itself is the bold black line, rectangular lot. It's previously developed with a 3-bedroom home along the front, and out back there is a 1-bedroom cottage building in the back corner of the lot. The lot itself is small. It's 3,746 square feet in size. And the resource areas that we're dealing with, there's the 100-foot setback to the coastal beach, and the entire property is within land subject to coastal storm flowage, which is an AE at elevation 15, and the entire property is classified as barrier beach itself. There was a septic system at this house that recently failed a Title V septic inspection. So what we've done is we've proposed a new Title V compliance system. The system was just approved by the Scituate Board of Health about 10 minutes ago at their meeting. The system is a new Hoot H500 treatment tank, so it's an advanced treatment septic tank. It's a 1,000 gallon pump chamber and then a pressure dosed leaching field. There's minimal change in the grading here. The finished grades of the property would go back and be plus or minus 6 inches of where they are today. There's no vegetation or tree removal with this project. The area where the system's proposed is currently gravel and sand surface. It would go back as such. DEP issued a file number. This is not an increase in flow. And again, the Scituate Board of Health just approved the septic repair. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, great. Now, Jen?
Yes, I agree with the resource areas. DEP had no comments. Board of Health agree. They were okay with it. And I don't have any other comments.
Okay. Jen Foley, this is closer to your.
Yeah. Uh, nothing to add on this one. I think sounds like it's an improvement.
Gotta get done.
Okay. Brendan?
Yeah. I have no comments. Thank you.
Okay. Eric?
All set for me, Frank. Thanks.
Okay. Robbie?
Curious what makes this an advanced system over a conventional septic system?
Because it was designed by Morse Engineering.
It's a good answer. Um, the real answer is rather than doing a conventional septic tank, this is a treatment tank, meaning it's been reviewed by the state DEP and issued a specific license to allow this type of technology. It's called a hoot tank. And when you do a hoot type system, the state allows me to reduce the size of the leaching field by as much as 50%. They also allow it to be about 2 feet closer to the groundwater table than a conventional system. Um, there's a number of these types. Hoot is just the technology I used at this property, but they're all classified as what they call IA or innovative alternative technologies, advanced systems.
Great. Um, Jason Scott, is he from Morse?
Yes, he is. He's my land surveyor. He had to sign this.
Yeah. Great. No other questions.
Um, Penny,
I'm all set. Thank you.
do we have anybody in the audience?
I do not see any hands raised.
Okay. Greg, just a quick one. Is the existing cottage, is that tied into that as well as the house?
It is. Yeah.
Okay, that's it for me.
Okay.
Penny?
So I'll make a motion to close an issue, Jen.
Yes.
Okay, it's a motion from Penny. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
That's from Brendan. All in favor, Jen Foley,
Yep.
Eric,
Yes.
Robbie,
Yes.
and Frank, yes. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're on to 0 Bossy Lane, and that's also Morse Engineering.
Yep.
Where are we with that? Jen?
Yes, we received some revised plans from Morse a couple weeks ago. I do not have the comments back from our peer reviewer. There was a site visit before those revised plans with their wetland scientist and our wetland scientist. And I don't believe this project has been presented, or maybe they briefly presented, just to introduce it.
It was a real brief presentation in the beginning because we wanted the wetland scientist to get out there and do the review, which happened on December 4th, and then made some plan revisions. I can run through the whole project pretty quickly if you want. But yeah, we are still awaiting peer review comments at this point.
Well, why don't you go ahead and give us what you have? If we have any questions, we could add it to the.
Great, thank you. Again, for the record, Gregory Morse, representing Bossy Lane Realty Trust. This is a notice of intent for a new single-family home. The property was 36,800 square feet. It was previously undeveloped. It's in essentially a virgin woodland state, with the exception of at the bottom of the page here along Bossy Lane, there's been maintained lawn and field along the frontage of this property. The proposal here was to construct a new driveway off of Bossy Lane to the upland portion of the site, which is at the rear of the property. It does traverse a small intermittent stream, which is essentially a man-made drainage ditch that dates back to the Lawson estate, but it does classify as an intermittent stream. And around that intermittent stream on either side is a bordering vegetated wetland. You'll see that resource area highlighted in blue was delineated by Brad Holmes of Environmental Consulting and Restoration, who's our wetland scientist on this project. The proposal was to bring the driveway in and cross the intermittent stream and cross the wetland. It was a BVW alteration of approximately 318 square feet. We were proposing a mitigation at a 2-to-1 ratio and providing 636 square feet of replication. We were also mitigating the 50-foot buffer disturbance associated with the project. There's approximately 1,680 square feet of buffer mitigation, or sorry, buffer alteration. that would be mitigated at greater than a 2-to-1 ratio with 4,400 square feet of meadow plantings happening at the property. This was filed as a limited access project. There's no upland access to the buildable portion of the house or the buildable portion of the lot. It's a relatively small house that's proposed. It's a 2-bedroom house. It's 32 feet by 32 feet. It has a 2-bedroom septic system. The house itself is 65 feet away from the wetlands at its closest point. The peer review being done by Lucas Environmental. Lucas, their wetland scientist, Devin Morse, no relation, did a site visit on December 4th to review the wetland line with Brad Holmes present. I think they reviewed and agreed upon flag locations. We updated those locations on our revised plans, which were submitted December 16th. In addition to the flagging review, other plan revisions that had been requested by Lucas were made. We added a detail of our pervious patio. We added tree protection details. We added a dumpster location, a concrete washout location, equipment and material staging locations, and some additional construction notes and a construction sequence. We were proposing erosion control barriers around the limit of work. We provided a planting plan by Brad Holmes and conservation posts with signage and split rail fencing along the mitigation areas. That's where we left off, and we're awaiting Lucas's response and any comments from the commission. DEP did issue a file number, and the Board of Health is all set with the septic on this.
Okay. Well, anybody, why don't we just take any comment that we can? I think we're going to want to wait for the peer review, but if any commission members, and I start with Penny.
Okay, my only comment is on the meadow, the proposed meadow. Jen, in the orders will state that's only to be mowed once a year. Am I correct?
I would want to look at what their plan is for managing the meadow.
I
If
actually
All
have
we,
some
right.
thoughts on that, Penny.
Yeah, well, I don't want
I
it.
don't know why it needs to be mowed, but I'll see what their suggestion is.
Well, I just don't want the grass area to come back. That's all, because it's all grass now. Other than that, I think they met everything that we asked for when we were out there, Jen.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Penny. Brendan?
Yeah, I don't have any questions or comments on this. I'm good.
Okay. Eric?
So yeah, just a couple things just to at least point out. To start, I appreciate the tree protection detail that was added. Greg, I think my first question, I see that the trees have been identified on the plan. I don't know if you have a table associated with that in terms of the number of trees. I tried counting, but a few of them are pretty close. I didn't know if you just had a total of the number of trees that are actually being removed. Just the number.
I don't have that number off the top of my head. I could certainly, add them up and add the specific number to the plan, though. That wouldn't be a problem.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I also appreciate the post and rail fence being added to the edge of the replication mitigation area, as well as the attentiveness to the invasive pressure that might be within that replication area as well. Another question just on that replication area. I did notice, Greg, on the notice of intent materials, it has 2 seed mixes, the showy Northeast native wildflower, as well as the facultative wetland meadow mix. Was that meadow mix intended to be interplanted within the replication area around the proposed woody material?
thought the meadow mix was just in the upland mitigation area as opposed to in the replication area, which is the smaller portion.
Right. So both the showy northeast native as well as the wetland are going to be in the meadow.
Correct.
Okay. Is there any consideration for adding a seed mix within the mitigation area? I'm sorry, the replication area. I don't want to get confused. Just to supplement the woody material that's there.
Bear with me 1 minute. I just want to open up that plan. I have that here.
Good evening, members of the commission. Brad Holmes here, assisting Greg with this project. The facultative wetlands meadow mix was meant for the wetland replication portion. And then the wildflower mix was intended for the meadow portion. So that the wetland replication that's going to be planted with saplings and shrubs would include that wetland seed mix. And then the meadow area would be seeded with the wildflower mix.
Excellent.
If that
Thank you,
helps.
Brad. Yes,
Sure.
no, definitely. That's exactly what I was trying to get at as I was sort of bumbling about with my question there. So I appreciate that. And then finally, just on the meadow, one thing that I did notice in the meadow restoration area sort of description, it was talking about once it's established, it would be maintained with annual mowing. I understand the need to maintain a meadow via mowing to reduce the amount of successional woody species that might be introduced. However, I was wondering if there'd be consideration rather than an annual mowing wholesale of the entire meadow, if it could be in the management plan where it's either divided into 3 sections, mowed once every 3 years, or at least half mowed every 3 years, just so the entirety of the meadow is not mowed all at once, as to preserve nesting and forage habitat for insects and birds.
I don't see an issue with that. We could include that into the management plan.
All right. And then finally on that last part, it was suggested that the material be removed. I'm curious if anyone would be opposed to leaving the material to increase organic matter, but most importantly, the seed bank for increased seed bank viability of those meadow species moving forward to increase the density of that herbaceous layer within that meadow.
Again, I think that would be fine. I think if during the cutting it's found to be excessive, that may kind of smother and compost too much, then it could be raked and left, and a certain amount left so that that didn't occur. But we
Yeah.
could certainly include that into the plan as well.
Yeah, just trying to be observant of the fact that it is currently a mowed grass area, and just trying to give the introduced species as much of a chance by increasing that seed bank as much as possible to eventually outcompete everything that currently exists.
Sure.
Excellent. That's all I have for now. Thanks.
Thank you. Robbie?
Nothing for me now. Thank you.
Jen Foley?
I think I'm good for now.
Okay. Did we have anybody in the audience on this one?
I do not see any hands raised.
Okay, so what do we want to send Greg away with? Is there any other information we want added along with the peer review? I guess those notes, Jen, I don't know, or Josh, can we get those notes over to peer review just so they have them?
Yes. And there is a hand raised. Jane McGinnis.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna
Okay.
unmute Jane.
Thank you.
Good evening. And if you just could state your name and address for the record, please.
Jane McGinnis, we're at 15 Manor. The back of our property would abut this, and I'm an environmental scientist. And I agree with everything they were saying. I especially like the part about leaving some of the maybe cut down um trees and so forth back there. We've lost a lot because of another house that was placed there further up the road. My other concern is this there's a lot of water in that stream right now. It seems like more than we've seen. We've been at our house over 30 something years. And we're just between the different animal species, birds, and plants, etc. We have a fully native garden on 15 Manor. We are just hoping that all of these things that are recommended, which we agree with, get followed. And my question is, how do we know that the recommendations will be followed? And is there if people aren't following them, what happens then?
Well, we have a set of orders that get recorded, and the commission does what they can to follow up on those. Usually there's a process while it's being constructed, and we don't issue a certificate of compliance until everything's in place. Sometimes they'll get a partial, but they don't get a certificate of compliance until it's reviewed and to be certain that all the aspects were complied with. But the ongoing like the maintenance of that upland meadow is always a concern. We can do our best to put them in the orders, but then it's really the applicant that needs to follow that unless we find something that we need to address.
Well, our concern, of course, is our abutting property, that we abut this and that we keep ours very natural. And we're just hoping that with clearing of things and so forth, I mean, it's going to have an effect on us no matter what, probably, but you can't avoid that. But again, between the different species that are back there, animals, birds, etc., amphibians, it does make us concerned that, especially with the wetlands there, that there's no oversight on that.
Jen Smith, do you want to comment any more on that?
For the oversight of the replication and the mitigation.
Yep.
Yeah, we would require monitoring reports at the end of growing seasons for several growing seasons, usually until a certificate of compliance is issued.
Okay. Is there a way to get a list of the different planting species that are going to be introduced?
Yes.
Brad?
Yeah.
Yes, there's a plant list in the submittal, and the seed mix profiles include all the species that are contained in the seed mixes as well.
Okay, so we're talking about like Joe pieweed and some of these taller things as well, or no?
Yes, a lot of those species are in I don't have the list right in front of me, but there's a big diversity of plants in the seed mixes. There's two different types for the wetland and then the meadow.
Uh-huh.
They're all native to Northeast and common to the area. So we've used them in the past and they've done well. Copies of the planting plan are at the conservation office, and you're welcome to look at them. And if you don't
Okay.
have a copy and you need an email, I'm happy to email a copy to you.
Okay. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, this is Mark McGinnis, 15 Manor Road, same household. I had maybe two questions. One of which was, is there any kind of statute of limitation in terms of the perking? The perking for that particular lot was done about 5 or 6 years ago. And I don't know if those tests, if they passed, are still usable or if that needs to be redone.
Sure.
Greg?
Sure. Perk tests actually don't expire.
Okay.
So they were witnessed by the Board of Health. at the time. Those were done in September and October of 2019, and then December of 2019. Those are all still valid results today.
Okay, and the other question I had is that at the I would describe it as the southwest corner mark of that particular lot, right next to, I guess, the leaching field.
Yeah.
There's a magnificent ancient oak that's pretty much the corner of all the properties that abut it. That's right at that particular spot, and I'm kind of praying that that's not one that's been labeled to be taken down.
So
I'm looking at a 36-inch tree. I don't see that it says oak on it, but it's pretty close to that, if that's the one they're referring to.
yeah, the
You can't
30,
miss it.
there's a 36 that we have labeled on the plan that's not proposed to come down.
Okay, well, good to know then.
But
That's about probably 8 feet or so from that corner, 10 feet, right,
yeah,
Craig?
correct.
Okay. Anything else?
I'm just kind of curious as to it it's the house that is proposed is very close to the applicant's house, and I uh, I wonder it seems odd to me that someone would want to do that.
They've cited in the location on this lot that complies with zoning and complies with the setbacks.
Right.
They were passing perk tests. The lot dictates where the house would go in this case, not
And it's a two-story house, correct?
correct.
And how about, could you possibly give the approximate height?
I don't have architectural plans on the house. In Scituate, houses are required to be less than 35 feet in height,
Okay.
Well, it's a
2.5 stories.
All right. Well, that's about all that we have to ask.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. Excuse me. Uh, um, Anybody else? Okay, so we're gonna have to continue this. Do you have any thoughts, Jen, on when we might get feedback?
Well, I'm hopeful that I mean, if we want to continue this to the next one, I'm not positive we'll have everything, but I know we've been working pretty closely on it. So I would hope to have comments back soon. The only other thing I was going to add was if we need any details for the retaining wall, to include those, and also for the abutters, if you want any of the files emailed to you, to let the office know, and we can send those over to you. These are the revised plans from December.
And we can just send a request or
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
your
call
office.
me. You can call us tomorrow, and we'll
Okay,
email
great.
it over. Yeah. I mean, there are several other trees coming down, that, they're outside the 100-foot buffer, but I mean, I don't know. Are any trees being planted?
Yeah, good question. Mhm.
We just open up the planting plan, or Brad, do you have that by any chance?
Yes, there are saplings proposed within the wetland replication area. The
Okay.
rest of the project, is beyond the buffer strip. I didn't put any planting plans together for that area.
Yeah, there's a total of 9 trees proposed: swamp tupelo, swamp white oak, and red maple.
And I guess this would come later in the conditions, but we would usually add to, if other plants go in on the site as people work on landscaping, we would hope to have things or want to have things to be native plants. But that's, maybe we can add that on to some of the other comments.
Okay.
Right. So I'm sorry, when do we want to continue this to?
The 19th?
Well, that is a holiday, so it's Wednesday, January 21st, if that's okay. I mean, we can go to February 2nd. But I'm hopeful maybe we can have everything organized for Wednesday, January 21st.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to continue 0 Bossy Lane to January 21st.
Okay, that's Penny. Do we have a second?
I'll
Second for
second that.
Jen. Ooh,
There was somebody before Brendan.
it
Was
was
that Jen?
Jen.
Jen?
Yeah.
I'll have to give that one to Jen, Brendan. Sorry.
That's fine.
Seconded by Jen Foley. All in favor. But you go next, Brendan.
Yes.
Okay. Eric,
Yes.
Robbie,
Yes.
and Frank, yes. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So now we're going to have two continuances here. 37 Revere Street. The applicant has requested a continuance till February 23rd.
We
Those are
already
done.
did those, Frank.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Wow. You guys knocked it right out of the park. All right. So now we're at 96 Stockbridge Road.
Yep.
And do I need to open this? No, we opened this, didn't we?
Correct. We've opened it, but I don't believe we discussed it.
Okay. So we have somebody from
We have Brad Holmes. Are you presenting this?
I am. Walter Sullivan is going to start the meeting. Then
Okay,
I'm
let
going
me
to take over.
got it. Okay.
And we also have Richard D. Benedictus, who's listed here as he was listed as owner. He's in present, and then I believe Lee Bloom is on as well, part of our team, and Ivo Cole is part of the team as well.
we have them all hooked up.
I'm sorry, did you also say Brian is on the team?
Ivo
Ivo
Cole,
Cole.
yes. Walter Sullivan, and the owner, who is Richard D. Benedictus,
Okay, I
and
don't see
Lee
him.
Bloom.
Oh, okay.
He's listed as owner.
Apologize. Richard De Benedictis is the engineer, one of the engineers. Pierre Cole, Ivo Cole are the owners.
Okay. Well, Brad, if you want to start.
Walter, I thought.
Or
Oh,
Walter,
yeah, sure.
rather.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Stowe. This is Walter Sullivan. I'm just going to introduce everybody and sort of set it up. We have not had comments back from peer review from Mr. Lucas, so I think this will be very quick. But again, just for the record, I'm Walter Sullivan, the attorney for the owner. With me is Lee Bloom from Lee Bloom Real Estate Consulting Group. Also the owner, Ivo Cole. And as you already heard, we have on this working with us Brad Holmes and the project engineer Dick De Benedictus. You have the site plan in front of you. It's a notice of intent for 3 single-family homes. What I'd like to do now, if it meets with the pleasure of the commission, is to have Brad Holmes just tell you very briefly about our project, and then I think Dick De Benedictus will touch upon stormwater, and I think we'll probably ask for continuance because I know we're waiting on peer review consultants.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, members of the commission. Jen, would it be possible to scroll down to page 2 just to start off, which is the existing conditions plan? Thank you. So we filed the notice of intent for 90 and 99 Stockbridge Road. DEP has reviewed the application and issued a file number of 68-3216. The site contains 2 lots. There's a dilapidated a single-family home in the middle of the site, which you can see there. There's a gravel and dirt driveway that leads to the property. It's a fairly large property. The yard is overgrown. As I mentioned, the house is in very rough shape. The assessors department lists the house as being constructed at around 1930. If you're looking at the site, there's areas of jurisdiction for the commission. We have a bordering vegetative wetland that's along the southern portion of the site. And then we have a bordering vegetative wetland that's along the northern portion of the site. And Jen, if you scrolled up just a little bit, yes, thank you. There's a map perennial stream within the bordering vegetative wetland system, just inside the BVW. So we have BVW, perennial stream, 100-foot buffer zone, and 200-foot riverfront area. Jen, if I could bother you to scroll up to the first page as you had it, would be great, and I'll just leave it there. So what we're proposing is a redevelopment project. The project is designed for 3 single-family homes. Basically, the existing driveway pretty much will be reused or used to access the property and then be divided into 3 separate driveways to reach each one of the house lots. Each house will contain its own septic system and its own stormwater infiltration system. The intent of the development was kind of trying to keep the area within the central portion of the site, trying to keep outside the 50-foot buffer zone, as you can see, and trying to minimize area within the riverfront to the extent possible. We've designed this project as a riverfront redevelopment project, and we've documented the compliance on how the project complies with the riverfront redevelopment standards. We have worked to avoid impacts to wetland resource areas and maintaining the Scituate Conservation Commission's buffer strip as a no disturbance zone. We are proposing to restore a significant portion of the buffer zone with mitigation plantings to remove some degraded conditions and revegetate that to a better condition. We did receive comments from peer review as far as stormwater, and Richard Benedictus has looked at those comments and addressed comments and has revised the plans to accommodate comments. I'll let him describe that to you in a minute, but we haven't submitted the final revised plans with the updates as we're going to discuss, because we know that we'll have some comments from Lucas Environmental, and we'll address those comments and then get hopefully one final plan revision set to the commission. So I just overviewed the project, hit the existing conditions where the commission's jurisdiction lies, and then gave a brief a description on what we're proposing. I'm going to turn it over to our professional engineer, and if you have any questions that you have for me, I can get into that after the engineering. So, Rich, over to you.
So I'm with Webby Engineering, and we designed this to comply with the common driveway section 720 of the Scituate bylaws. And as Brad explained, it meets all the requirements, and we do have a lot of restrictions. And related part of it is the Zone A to tributary that lies between us and Stockbridge Landing. And the others are just the wetland issues. We've put a lot of effort into making sure we are outside all the required areas. Now, these are 3 separate lots under the common driveway bylaw, and each one has a number of restrictions to it, which we've complied with. One of the restrictions is each lot has at least 40,000 square feet of upland over and above any wetlands. So that's associated with each lot. You can see that with the numbers on the lots there. The lot, the one on the bottom is 61,000 square feet of upland. The other one, the next one's 40,000 something, over an acre, a builder's acre. And the top one is 46,000. So there is quite a few bit of uplands, even though we do have restrictions. So we've done that. Basically, the stormwater system is each one of the homes, and I think it's on sheet 4 or 5, we can go down to, shows that we have a roof drainage. Yeah, let's see, you can pull one more up. Well, actually, it kind of shows that. Yeah, here. It's okay, this is a good one. So we have roof drainage going to a subsurface infiltration systems. So that takes away that part of the stormwater system. And of course, that's identified in our original stormwater report that we did in September 25th, which has since is going to be revised. That was already reviewed by Horsley and Witten, and we had a number of comments that we addressed, and we're ready to put that on a plan to complete that. But again, we're waiting for Lucas to make sure we have a comprehensive plan that addresses all the issues. The actual drainage of the road, which is really a driveway, which meets the common driveway criteria, is brought down to, you can see the basin towards Stockbridge Road. It was originally shown as a rain garden. After reviewing the comments by Horsley and Witten, we've decided to revise that to be an infiltration basin. Again, we won't officially put that on the plan, and it's a little bit bigger than the one shown here, but it will be more adequate for the kind of system. All of the flow coming, all the flow coming from the site flows basically to the north and west, and it flows from, well, there is a butter on the road that's to us. His property is the high point on this whole area. So everything going to his property is coming from Stockbridge Road, and coming off this property is going towards all the wetland issues. So the road drainage itself, once it's paved, goes in kind of a southwesterly direction. So it goes away from his property. So basically that's it. We're going to be, we're awaiting the comments from Lucas, and then we'll come up with a final plan. We don't want to have too many plans floating around. And we've met with the fire department and done all those basic things for the planning board. But as far as the Conservation Commission, we believe this plan is pretty comprehensive with the potential for revisions based on the final comments. That's pretty much what I have. If there's any questions.
Thank you. Anybody else from your group presenting?
No, that's pretty much it, Mr. Snow. As I indicated at the beginning, we'll be seeking a continuance because we know we have to await comments from Mr. Lucas.
Do you want to get comments from commission members while we're?
Yes, that would be helpful if
Sure.
the commission's so inclined.
Sure. Where do I want to start? Eric?
Thanks, Frank.
It
we have a
doesn't
lot
have,
going on.
yeah.
A lot going on this site. Obviously, it's a very complicated site with Zone A, and obviously that's outside of our jurisdiction. But there's a lot happening very close to the 50-foot buffer zone, as well as obviously the two wetland resource areas on either side of this project. First thing I noticed just from looking at the plan, and correct me if I'm missing it, but I see no limit of work and erosion control boundaries for the site. So that's definitely something, if I'm not missing it, would be interested in seeing on these plans. And tied to that, I suppose I'm looking at the amount of trees that are going to be removed on this site, and I don't really notice anything in terms of significant mitigation areas being proposed for some of the trees that are being removed. I guess I also have questions about whether or not there needs to be a paved driveway adding to the impervious surfaces just right adjacent to these wetland resource areas. And I also do have questions about the rain garden, or rather, as it seems like it's being changed to an infiltration basin. It seems like, again, significant tree loss is going to be a result of that, and wondering, why the pivot from, because I don't know if I have access to the Horsley and Witten document yet, but why that wouldn't be vegetated. I would prefer to see, as much vegetation reintroduced to the site as possible. That's really the 10,000 foot stuff for me. The rest I'll wait for Lucas Environmental.
Okay. Thank you. Brendan?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much on board with what Eric said. I don't really have much to add. I don't have anything to add to it at this point. So
Okay. Penny?
Yeah, um it's a difficult site, very difficult. I mean, the 50-foot buffer, the wetlands, the 50-foot buffer, but everything's in the 100, 200 foot. Oh, I'd like to wait for Horsley Wittens before I say anything. I want to hear what they have to say, because it's a difficult site. That's all I can say. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Also, sorry, I just did notice the sheet that the erosion control was on, so I did find that.
Okay, thank you. Robbie? It looks like we're going to have time to look at this too. So, Bill,
I guess we need updated details because the plan set still shows the rain garden details, and I guess if it's switching to some kind of infiltration structure, then there'll be some details associated with that. And then a question on the site plan. Nearer to the houses along the perimeter, there's a double line. Is that a curb or a berm, or yeah, that heavy line right there? What is that?
Show me that again. Where are
It's a
you?
retaining wall, Dick.
Okay, that's a wall. That's a wall because
Okay.
this is being built up. Somewhat.
Okay.
This is, yeah.
Is it a net fill or site or cut or?
No, it'll be a fill. It'll be a fill site just around the houses. The rest of it is pretty much left the way it is.
Mhm.
The driveway is pretty much where it is now. We are moving it a little farther away from the 50-foot line. But otherwise, if you went out there and drove in there, you'd be kind of in the same area as the finished driveway for the most part, as it goes by that old house.
Thank you. You mentioned that the driveway was constructed according to the Scituate bylaws on the subject.
Right.
Because 16 feet seems a little too narrow for two-way vehicle traffic and a little
That's
too wide for one way?
yeah, that's the requirement. We met with the fire department on that, and they didn't have a problem with it. So we're, unless there's some other issue, it is a driveway. It's not a subdivision of a number of houses. There's only 3 houses. But that's what we went with the bylaw requires as a minimum.
But we recognize obviously the planning board will have something to say about it, but we did meet with the fire chief and the deputy chief, and we think that they'll be satisfied with it.
And there was a stormwater permit for this site? Is that accurate?
That's what the process that we're going through now until we get all the final comments from everybody. And then because some of the stormwater has been adjusted somewhat to meet the requirements of the various boards. So once we have that, we'll finish that up.
So is the plan that the roof runoff will be infiltrated?
Right.
And then looking at the grading plan, it looks like the proposed contour 51, everything's going to flow from that down the driveway towards the
It
infiltration.
actually flows in a couple of directions so that it all winds up. That is a low point where we're showing a basin. So everything's kind of flowing in that direction, even though it comes from 2 different directions, into a kind of a swale. But this will all be, as I say, we'll show this more in more detail at the next hearing. Once we get all the final comments, we'll be able to identify, all those issues a little clearer.
Okay, great. So just so I understand it, it's going to be overland flow from the high point down towards that basin in a couple of different
Right.
directions.
Right. It's kind of more dynamic. It's not a one direction flow, but it comes together from 2 different directions. It's just the nature of the site. And as I said, the neighbor out in the street there, he's on the high point of this whole area. So any rain hitting his site goes onto our site.
Understood. And
we're not doing any, reclaiming or removal of any wetlands. We're not doing any replications or anything because we don't have to. We're staying outside that 50-foot area. As Mr. Di Tommaso said, and I think it was Penny said that, we have a lot of restrictions, but, that's what engineering is all about. I mean, not every site has to deal with the restrictions. This is a 3.5 acre site that has a kind of a dilapidated building on it, and we're improving it dramatically because once the houses and their individual houses, they're not multifamily. Once the houses are built, they're going to look like any other site for houses because all these restrictions have been dealt with, and it'll be a nice property, and yet it's not imposing on anybody else. It's 350 feet into the site. As I said, we met with people, and we're going to meet with any other town officials who would like to know more about this.
great, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I do apologize. I didn't notice that the restoration information was within the notice of intent rather than on the plan set. So I do apologize for that oversight on my.
Yeah, and I might just for Mr. Di Tommaso, you mentioned about the tree cover. This area where the basin is, there's not very many trees there. It's pretty clear. There's a lot of open areas, especially up by where the houses are. It's kind of a wide open area that trees were cut down many years ago. So there's less tree removal than you would normally think. You would think of this as a forest. It's really not that much. It's there's a wide open area just about where the houses are going in. So there will be some trees coming down, but it's not going to be as dramatic as it might seem to be.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the clarification. It's just I'm looking at the satellite imagery and where the house is sort of my basis for comparing to what the proposed locations are. it's hard to sort of line everything up from, one map image to a plan set.
Especially, yeah. And on
But I
satellite,
mean,
you're looking at the breadth of the surf, the height part of the trees. So but it is, I mean, we've had to walk the site many times, and Lucas will have probably some kind of comment on that anyways, because that's one of the things they did. They doing an on-site evaluation. So
of course, of course.
Mr. Frank.
Yeah, I'm just, who did I want to get to Jen Smith. Who else? Jen Foley. Did I get?
No, but I'll give all of my time to Jen Smith.
All right. Anybody? Penny, did you already weigh in?
Yes, I did.
Okay, sorry. It's been a bit.
Yeah.
Jen Smith.
Yes, I would like to start with I don't believe these lots have been created yet. I don't believe an A&R has been filed with planning. And you would also need to apply for a common driveway permit from planning. So there is some more review of that design. And this project also would need to go to Board of Health for the septics and to zoning as well. So I think there's more feedback that we need more than just our peer review. Um, in addition, I think you've commented you're going to add this to the upcoming plans, but the 150-foot no disturb for the Zone A for Scituate, and then making sure all the work is out of that, and that really should be the limit of work also. I would also suggest, I see that there's erosion control on one of the plans, but it's on the existing conditions. It's not on the proposed work. So just to kind of make that clear for anybody doing the work, where the limit of work is. I think it's been mentioned how many trees are coming down, and making it clear on the plan where the mitigation area is, so that that can be followed as people are doing the work. These different zoning areas, they might be on the plan. The water resource protection, it's an outstanding resource water area. All of that should be on these plans so everybody knows all the different information. And the wall, we would need to know the details of that. How high is it? That was some of my comments. I'm not sure if this needs to go to historic also, but Board of Health, zoning, and planning all need to hear this. So I'm not sure what your plan is for filing with them.
Yeah, we intend to file with the planning board very shortly for the Form A and the special permit the driveway special permit.
and we've done test bits before the Board of Health.
But
That
have you
was,
filed with Board of Health?
Well, we had Ralph Cole as his last bit of work. He actually retired the day he finished his last witnessing of our test pits. So we did that. And so we haven't filed for the actual permits yet. No. Again, we're trying to get at least a good feedback from your board, from your commission. And then we're going to do a lot more with the planning board. As I said, the Leslie and Witten did a very full evaluation, and they actually had it done by December 1st, which was very good. And so we have answered that, but we haven't filed it yet because we're still waiting to add whatever else has to be added relative to their comments might not necessarily be exactly the comments of Lucas. So we want to make sure we're not re-answering questions. So we'd like to see, we anticipated Lucas would have their things, because this was really the December 1st hearing. Now it's January 1st. So January 5th. So we thought we'd have that by now, but we're anticipating to have that any minute now or any time.
So, Frank, I would suggest continuing far enough out that we can hear from these other boards, because those changes might affect stormwater and performance standards for the Wetland Protection Act also.
Right. I need a little clarification. So Horsley Witten reviewed this for who?
For us, for stormwater.
For stormwater.
Hmm.
So we've already started a stormwater review, but we don't have any septic plans?
Correct.
There's no leaching fields shown on any of these plans. Is this on connected to sewer, or is it having on-site septic?
Yeah, the leaching areas are shown schematically here on one of the sheets. I think is it sheet 5. I'm not sure because I can't scroll this down. Take one more.
The plan that I'm seeing.
No, go back one. Go back one. Let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the triangular areas. They basically represent the actual leaching area based on the test pits, which are shown on the previous plan. We did, as I said, we did a multiple of test pits with Ralph Cole. We were out there on two different sites, 2 different days.
So I guess I'm a little confused because when I look at this plan and you're saying that those show a layout for a septic, but I'm seeing a note that says all downspouts are directed. So I'm assuming that that's a subsurface thing for stormwater.
Yeah, that's the stormwater you're talking about, right?
So I don't see where there's an
No, you're right. No, well, you're right. We haven't done a design to submit to the Board of Health yet, but we're ready to do that now. We have the test. Go ahead.
So the septic system, I mean, are they mounted, or is there any change in? It just seems to me like be putting the cart before the horse a little with regard to the stormwater if we don't have all the information on the alterations on this site. Am I missing something?
Well, yeah.
I think I think we expect to sort of catch up. We're going to get before the Board of Health imminently, so I think perhaps Ms. Smith has a good idea that if we postpone this to maybe not the next meeting but the one after, we'll have filed with the other boards.
I mean, that's 2 meetings is a month out. To be quite honest, it doesn't. I mean, you've sounded like you're a little critical of Lucas for not getting back on this review.
We're not being, Mr. Chair, we're not being critical of anybody. We understand the holidays and everything else. We fully understand. And I would suggest if we go 2 meetings out and we need to continue it, we could ask to do that.
Okay. Jen, or what's our schedule look like is that the Wednesday meeting?
No, Wednesday is January 21st. February 2nd, we have a fairly large hearing that night. So that's why we're continuing a lot of things to February 23rd. I mean,
Jen?
is that going to really be enough time to even get on to planning and zoning and Board of Health?
Yeah, Jen, I'm just chiming in quick on this. I'm less concerned with them filing with the other boards as I am having the boards hear them and have comments received from those boards. So that's just where I'm at, because I know the applicant just suggested that they were going to be filing with them, and that's one thing, but being heard is another. So I just want to make sure that the timeline's long enough so we can receive the comments from those boards.
Okay. I mean, I get the applicants that they'd like to get some feedback from the commission with regards to the wetlands areas and those resources. And I think if we can get some feedback from Lucas, that might help them thinking about their design and whatnot. But it's an ongoing process.
Why don't we do February 23rd? And if they haven't met with the other boards, we'll continue it. We won't even hear them that night.
Well, we can
we got to put something down.
Yeah. No, we can continue it to then. I'm on lines with Eric that it's going to be this is going to be going out for a while. But the same token, if we can get the review back from Lucas, they'll at least have that information, which might help them thinking about their design. So
that would be fine with the applicant, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Is there anybody in the audience for this one this evening?
Yeah.
Got a couple of them.
I
Hi
unmuted
there.
Brian. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Brian Mazmanian. My wife Jill is on the phone. We live at 88 Stockbridge. We abut it to the um, east. So I appreciate the questions from Eric and Jen, and I guess everybody. We had some of the same concerns. I guess the first concern, it was good to hear, but I just want to confirm the last agenda said proposal for single-family dwellings. The one for today says construction of multifamily dwellings, but it sounds like um, the owner said they were in fact single-family dwellings. Is that right?
We're proposing 3 single-family homes.
Okay, great. Um, and then I would say just generally our concerns are that we also have wetlands. I believe we have wetlands that are on our property. If you can see on this page right next to where our name is, there's sort of a pathway going just into our property a little bit. I don't know if that references the end of the property because we haven't, as far as we know, had anybody walk our property. But I think our big concern, and this is our first time dealing with something like this, is that, while it says that, I think I heard that things are expected to sort of drain to the north and to the west. It does not feel like a particularly hilly area or that we are in a, particularly high part of this, acreage that we see on this map. And that, we will, if there's, this additional impervious driveway put in, as well as, things that are designed to keep these new homes free from water, that we could end up seeing more water on our property, and understanding I think a little bit more about the garden, and if that will all of a sudden so close to our property become sort of like some kind of a low-lying wetland that will attract water and I don't know, mosquito, other things. It's hard to tell, but it does also sound like there's significant updates to this. I briefly went to the office and saw Jen before, I think in early December, just to kind of look at these things. So I think any updated plans would be really helpful for us to get a better sense of what's happening. I understand that the driveway is also moving, I don't want to say significantly, but closer to our property as well than the current gravel road. So just general concerns and just sort of like an openness to anybody from the town that wants to, that if there's any sort of process for coming to look at our property and sort of assessing, we would welcome that as well.
Okay, thank you. Did Jill want to, is she on separately or are you on
She's on
together?
separately. I'll ask her. Jill, do you want to?
Brian covered all of my questions, and I just want to reiterate the fact that this has been really informative for us. We've only been in this property for a little over 5 years, so this has all been very helpful. So thank you.
Thank you. I do have a question on that wetlands line. Maybe Brad can help me out here. So obviously you didn't flag the wetlands on their property, Brad, is that correct?
You're correct. I tried to trend the wetland as it was heading into their property. Um, I think as I can kind of remember it's somewhat I'll say not necessarily developed, but there's yard area not too far off from that flag as I remember, but it's been a year and I try not to trespass when I can.
Okay, I just, what we're making an assumption here is that wetlands is going away from this property line, and so wouldn't the 50-foot line, but we don't really know that.
Their house and yard is closer to that southern property line, and the wooded area is kind of, if you look at an aerial. But we can certainly I can kind of look in and get a better direction on where that's going.
Okay, it might even not hurt maybe from the aerial or other town information and maybe superimpose some of their house or whatever, even if it's rough, just give us some indication of where things are there.
Sure.
Could I
Okay.
suggest that we scroll up to the existing conditions plan, just to see if it tells us enough to answer
Sure.
any questions? Let's see. Might not, yeah,
Oh,
basically
yeah,
it does show you. It shows
sure.
you going from elevations 47 down to 43, going towards into the kind of a
Gotcha.
northwesterly situation. So that's if you were to say how we're going to prove this, you'd have a survey out there and they just verify this. But I mean, that's
Yeah, no, I
obviously
can step what you're saying makes sense. Like you say, it's high. The high point of that is at the Stockbridge Road, and then it's tape. It's pitched back. Okay. All right. Well, I don't think we need to do much more. If anybody else that wants to speak to this evening,
No.
Maybe just add the information about the contours, what the source is for those. It might be on here. If it's not, maybe add that reference. I'm just because we mentioned it now, I'm thinking about it. I didn't look for that.
Okay.
the contours for what, Jen?
On the site, what the source was, are they?
Oh, okay.
So when do we want to continue this to, Jen?
Well, if you want to continue it to February 23rd, we can do that. And if we're not ready, I would suggest, well, we'll have to see what information we have. Otherwise, the March meeting dates are open if they want to, you know, pick one of those now. Things tend to fill up as we fill up other agendas with the continuances. Then it's not always that the next meeting is available.
Sure, if we could keep the 2/23 date and then maybe the next meeting in March, that would be fine with us.
Well, we can continue to one of those. I can't
Okay,
hold two
I
of the
think we'd
dates.
like to, Jen, I hear what you're saying, but I think if possible, we would like to keep it as February 23.
Okay.
We'll try. All right, so I'll make
Okay.
a motion. Yes,
Yep.
I make a motion to continue 9096 Stockbridge Road to February 23rd.
Okay. That's Penny. You have a second
I'll second that.
from Robbie. All in favor? Jen
Yep.
and Brendan
Yes.
and Eric
Yes.
and Frank. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone.
Have a good night.
thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Jen, what's your next
For open space, there is several parcels that a family would like to donate to the town. And because it's in multiple different resource areas, coastal resource areas, land subject to coastal storm flowage, the suggestion was to have conservation provide an opinion on whether we would want to accept this or whether the town should accept it, and then they would go to the select board as well with any recommendation from Conservation Commission. So this is highlighting the parcels. It's off Stone Ave, which is off Hatherley, so we're kind of in the Egypt Beach area of Scituate. I do believe the owner is on the call if they wanted to say anything about it. I'm not sure what
Jen,
anybody's questions might be.
on the sheet that we're seeing, it's outlined in red. So are there 4 lots or more?
So the parcel that's in yellow, and then the parcel on the far right, it's 281A8. Those parcels are what are mentioned. And when I was reading the note from the assessor's office, it also includes 28 1B10. So yes, all that is in red would be included if I'm understanding everything I've been told correctly. And right now these are undeveloped lots. They're just vegetation on them.
I want to say we conditioned the one right adjacent to that, closest to the pond, and it seemed to me like it was right in the wetland. It was a while ago.
I remember that, Frank. It was a while ago, and
But
nothing
but
happened.
but beyond that, it was all pretty
Yeah.
wet. Well, adjacent to that salt pond, those chain of ponds would make that, I think, a fairly important resource for us. I'd oh, go ahead. Run through this. Jen Foley.
Yeah, seems interesting.
Okay. Penny.
Yeah, no, I like it. The chain ponds, that's good.
Brendan.
Yeah, yeah, all for it.
Okay. Eric.
Yep, I agree. I'm all for preserving these spaces.
Okay. Robbie.
It sounds good. It wouldn't include the cul-de-sac though, right?
I think that's only on paper.
No, I'm looking at it. Unless
Is
it's deteriorated in the last, no, this is from September 25.
Yeah, the cul-de-sac exists. Yes.
okay. Huh.
There's drainage in it as well, so I don't know
So
that part.
yeah, good point. So I think we maybe we should go out there, at least a few of us, try to take a peek at it, see what's there, see what's on site, and then what exactly are we accepting. The town's usually pretty careful for us not to accept things that are going to become a liability to them. I think this is one that we should definitely pursue. And why don't we try to make a point, Jen, to get out there
Okay.
and just take a walk around if we could? I think we could figure out enough
You're
while
gonna
we're
need some machetes.
there. Well,
Pretty,
we're not going to drift too far off the road. Maybe this time of year in the winter we can see a little further in.
True.
And then just kind of get a good sense of what's there. Because I can tell you that we'd like to accept every piece of land that we could possibly save. The select board, the town administrator, are a little more reluctant to do that. So we need to make our pitch as to why we think it's important for the town to hold that property. So it's probably best that we see it and can kind of make a list of the things that it does, habitat and maybe some water protection to the to the pond, that kind of thing. But if we could take of that and make a strong argument, I think that would be a good start. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
happy to go out there, and our coastal management officer also provided a comment that in accepting in any kind of preserving of open space in the flood zone has benefits to the CRS program for Scituate. So
Oh,
just
good.
something else to kind of consider when we're taking a look.
Awesome. All right, well, let's try to set something up and do that. I'm all in favor of that one. What else do we have?
So we'll keep that one on the agenda, and I will follow up with the owners with questions.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have enforcement, 126 Edward Foster Road. They are in the area on Edward Foster across from the Maritime Center, from the boatyard that's there. And I'm not sure exactly when, I guess within the last year, they installed a stone patio with a bit of a wall on the street side of it. attached to the seawall that's there. I mailed her a letter. She called as soon as she got it, unaware that permitting was needed from conservation for this work. She meant to join us tonight, was unable to, and said she'll make sure to be at our next meeting in order to introduce herself and talk to the commission. But I wasn't sure what people's feedback was, any kind of enforcement we wanted to do, if we wanted to talk to her. Like I said, no permits were requested for this work.
Like building permits or anything?
No, I don't. Often don't need a building permit for a patio. I don't, but no permits. No.
So we'll see her at the next meeting. Keep our
That
eye on her.
right. Yes.
Okay.
So
Not a big.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, just not a big fan of the pop-up patios as we see them from time to time landing next to these seawalls, especially if there's a wall associated with it, as it appears that there is that white line there. That, from just the aerial, does not look like it's something that we would condition.
You can see it pretty clearly from the road when you drive by.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get the info and go from there.
And all right, and then we also have minutes to vote on.
Is there any modification or amendments?
No, I mean, no, I don't have any modifications or amendment request.
Okay.
About 42 Crescent, Jen.
Yes, 42 Crescent. 42 Crescent recently applied for their occupancy, so that's through the building department. This site also has a stormwater permit through us. So there was several differences on their plan that they submitted to building for their occupancy than what we had approved. There was an additional patio, driveways enlarged, and I'm not sure of some of the swales and the grading that was necessary for the stormwater permit. The patio, the extra patio, they say they'll remove, but there was a few comments that Merrill Engineering, who reviewed the stormwater for us, she provided as far as questions she would want answered to see if everything was met for the stormwater permit. I wasn't sure if we wanted to take any enforcement actions. This site has had an enforcement action about a year ago. Just a couple months ago, they were in front of us for some changes to the plans that they were proposing. So I was a little surprised to see such differences on their plan for their occupancy and the plan that we had approved.
Considering all the things that we talked to them about and making sure that they understood that they were supposed to stick with the plan, I can't believe that they've just already gone off the.
They've gone off the railroad tracks again.
Okay.
I mean, they did kind of, I mean, we did send out enforcement for the 8-foot retaining wall that they put in, and they seem like they continue to ask for forgiveness rather than for permission. And not a great look.
Oh.
Go get them, Jen.
Okay.
Jen, do you feel like you have the right direction from us, or what other kind of like context or insights do you
Well,
need?
I mean, I mean, some things can be resolved as far as maybe some back and forth and some other changes to the plan. I would like to see the patio removed. I'm not opposed to fining. I mean, I think in this case we've kind of done everything else with them. In addition to them making whatever changes need to be made. I think I have an email saying they'll do some additional mitigation. I mean, that's great, but I feel like it's been a few times of catching things later and then having to play catch up.
Right.
I agree. Um, and I think other people have said it, but Eric said it most recently in my brain on where they've been with us.
Okay. Well, what's your, in terms of an occupancy or certificate of compliance,
They
or
shouldn't get it.
is
Well,
there something that
yeah,
they're looking
they
for?
haven't requested a certificate of compliance yet, and they're not planning on doing that. They still have some other of our conditions to meet, and they know that, and that's supposed to happen this spring. But the occupancy, because there's a stormwater permit, we usually we have in our conditions that the stormwater components should be installed before an occupancy permit is issued. So if there's a swale that needs to be done, that should be done. If the driveway is larger, is that okay? I don't know. Some of that is within the 100-foot buffer.
I think
Okay.
it's not okay.
Well, let's see if we can get the owner on, and then that was Merrill Engineering, right? That was reviewing that for us, and
Correct.
we were out there with Deb before. So these changes, some of the stuff probably shouldn't be there at all, and then the other changes, we're going to need to get feedback from Deb as to whether it impacts um, the design that they already have, because they've made significant changes, right, in the driveway and some other things that are out of jurisdiction, but part of the stormwater.
Correct. Correct. They
Okay.
might be outside the 100-foot, but they're within the stormwater permit.
Okay. All right.
Just my 2 cents, if I may.
Sure.
Given their history and the amount of things that the scale, I'm ready to fine.
Okay.
Me too.
I echo that.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Enough.
let's take a look at what was done, and then we'll figure out how we want to address that. I'm not disagreeing with any of you. It's pretty frustrating. We've gone through this process already. Okay.
Okay. The minutes.
Sure.
I make a motion, we accept the minutes of November 5th as written.
That's Penny. Do you have a second?
I'll second that.
It's from Brendan. All in favor, Jen?
Yep.
And Eric?
Yes.
And Robbie?
Yes.
And Frank, yes. Okay. Anything else?
Jen? Is Jen still here?
Yes.
Which
Folding?
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Is she here?
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, do you want to say anything about our little meeting Monday, or wait on that?
Um, Monday, Friday.
Friday, I'm sorry. Today's Monday.
That we met with Corey, our coastal management officer, but she does a lot of work of applying for grants for the town, to talk to us about a grant we can apply through the MVP program. That's a status that the town has from previous applications that we've submitted. So in having that status, we can apply for grants, and one of them is for land acquisition. And so we're hoping to acquire a grant for the cranberry bogs off Old Oak and Bucket Road. So that's something we'll work on this year.
That's exciting.
It's very exciting.
Cool.
Get into the cranberry business.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, big thumbs up on that.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can be a successful applicant for that grant.
And on that note of grants, I do think some folks from Cohasset will be applying again for an eelgrass restoration grant. They applied for it a couple years ago and didn't get it. So they're going to try again this year. So they'll be sending us some information, looking for a letter of support. There was a couple areas in Cohasset, but there was also a couple areas in Scituate that they thought would be potentially good locations to do some eelgrass restoration.
Oh, we'll keep our fingers crossed for that because if I remember correctly, that was a pretty interesting project that they're proposing if they had won that grant. So
Yes, yes.
hopefully they get it.
Okay. I think that's it. Can I make a motion, Frankie?
You can, Penny.
I make a motion to adjourn.
You need a second?
Second from
I'll
Jen.
second.
Okay, Jen. All in
Jen beat
favor.
me.
All in favor, Brendan
Yes.
and Eric
Yes.
and Robbie
Yes.
and Frank. Yes, great. Well, happy New Year's to all of you, and we'll
See you in a couple of weeks.
on to another year.
Good night.
Have a good
Night.
night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Night.